Hey everyone, today I'm creating some cards using the Call Me Crafty SheetLoad of Card template from November 2024. I am part of the creative team, and so you'll find a playlist below to all of the rest of the creative team members so that you can check out all of the videos that we have made. We always do a totally different spin on the design, so it's great to check out all of the different creators. Now, in terms of where I started with this today, I have a giant scrap box that contains all of my leftovers. There are loads of them that are 1.5 inches by 12 inches, which is from a previous project many years ago, and then a bunch of them that are 1.5 by 6 inches. But I also have this bundle here that I've grabbed that is where I've cut down Kaiser Craft papers normally are 6.5 by 6.5, and so that little extra 1/2 inch for a lot of projects I end up trimming off the end, and so this is the perfect time for me to use those up. So if you have scraps, or if you have even pieces that are bigger than this and you can cut them down to 1/2 inch wide, then they are going to be absolutely perfect today. The other thing I've done is I've chopped up some white panels that are 2 inches by 5 inches, and that's exactly per the card sketch. And then I'm just adding all of these little strips of paper onto them in little bundles of 3. So no new pieces of paper were cut down today. Everything was just using the scraps out of my leftovers, which is a way that I love to create cards because I feel like I'm just building up a bit of that clutter every time I do a project. So when I have a project that tidies that up a little bit, then that is perfect. The other thing that I do with my scraps is I do have a box that's pretty close to where I do my crafting that has anything that I think has value and could be used, but that I'm unlikely to use. And so I put that into the box, often in little like Ziploc bags and things so things don't get mixed up together. And then I donate to the local holiday school program, and they love to make cards with the kids. So it works out absolutely brilliantly. Now, because I've got these different color combinations going on here, and I'm going to make 20 cards today, I am matching them up with these neutral backing panels. So in a previous project, it might have even been a SheetLoad video, I cut down a full 12 by 12 that was a multicolor cardstock pack. It's just one of the cheaper packs. It's got like a white core in it, so it's not very good quality cardstock, but it is quite heavy. And just with all of these neutrals, I've just created them as a 5.25 by a 4 inch panel. And you can see here, quite coincidentally, when I picked the best color for each of these colored strips or these strip panels on the front, I actually did pick out completely different backing panels for each one. I actually didn't double up at all. And I think that just shows that if you've got some of these things ready and you're a bulk card maker, maybe you donate cards to charities like I do, then this can actually help out a lot. And especially if you have loads and loads and loads of supplies, cutting them down so they're ready to go for a card making session is a super helpful tip. Now, I didn't do a lot of variation today, but here you'll see I did that one panel where I did the 1.5 strip instead of the 3 1/2 inch strips. And so for that one, it was just an experiment. We'll see how it goes a bit later. For the Endless add-on set from Queen & Company, I purchased this some time ago as one of their run-out specials. They often have really great deals for things that are towards the end, or maybe there's add-on sets for the original sets no longer available. And given that this was sentiments that have multiple layers of shadow around them, so they create a really great focal point on a card, I did purchase this one. It's no longer available, so I apologize for that. And I'm only going to use the first layer of shadow. So I'm die cutting here the bit that we stamp onto and the first layer of shadow, and then there is a second layer of shadow that I am not using. And I have to say I'm absolutely loving using my Spellbinders Scout because I can just sit at my normal workspace without having to bring over the larger Spellbinder machine. And for things like sentiments, you can crank them through really, really quickly because that 3.5 wide gap works absolutely perfectly. I'll put a link below to everything that I've used today, and I'll mark the things that are no longer available or tag them as retired. When I was creating the actual sentiments themselves, I created a whole bunch of blanks, which you saw earlier, and they're all in stacks on the right-hand side. And then I created myself a little template. And the way that I did this is I put all 4 of the sentiments on the lid of my MISTI and stamped it on a piece of cardstock. And then I used some of the outside layer from when I did the cutting of the sentiments, and I have taped them on top of the pre-stamped images. So that means is that I've got them absolutely perfectly lined up with the exact border that is needed, so that I don't have anything that is wonky when I do the stamping. So I often do my die cutting first and my stamping second. And if I do a couple of quick stamps with, this is my Versafine Onyx black ink, then I find I get an absolutely bright black perfect stamp every single time. So this is a little trick on how to do it. There's many, many different ways, but I have found that this works perfectly for me. I did have a little bit of a struggle pulling these out with some of them because they were like really, really tightly into that little template. So I did chop out a little bit to the right-hand side of each of the sentiments themselves so that I could use my craft pick to just flick them out a little bit easier. So if you're having trouble, then that might be something that is a little bit helpful for you as well. The next step is to try and work out what to do with all of these gorgeous cats that I have die cut and the sentiments. And I'm just working out, am I going to do horizontal? Am I going to do vertical? These cats, by the way, are from the Tim Holtz Mischievous set. They are absolutely the coolest thing ever. Now, I'm not a huge cat lover, but I know a lot of people are. And I found these so fun to play with. I actually got them as a free giveaway from scrapbook.com. They have incredible specials and incredible giveaways that change regularly. And so you can often add 2 or 3 freebies to your cart. So if you purchase from scrapbook.com when you're purchasing your craft supplies, I highly encourage you to go to the coupons page every time and take a look at what they have as their free giveaway. It's often ephemera or die sets or stamp sets, and they're often full sets like this. I think this item is about $23 US, and it was completely and utterly free. So it's not now, I apologize, but it was at the time. And so for me, I dug it out and die cut a whole bunch of the cats out of browns and blacks, and there's a few that are navy, so that I had some contrasting colors for these backing panels. So you can see here, I'm just figuring out where am I going to put the sentiment, how am I going to decorate it with a couple of the cats. And in some instances, I put 2 cats, some instances I put 1. And then with these thinking of you can see here that I actually didn't add a cat to these ones at all. I actually thought that these would just be some nice, simple, classy thinking of you cards that maybe would be a good alternative to the ones that have the cats on it. With the Let's Celebrate and the colours of this blue, red and yellow here, I did a little bit of a mixture. Some of them I put cats, some I put 1, 2 and 0. I tried to just make some decisions around the number of cats that I had of each of the designs, and what I wanted to try out with some different looks and different layouts. You can see here I'm trying many different combinations, and I'm just moving things around the front of the card until I think they look good. And there's many false starts. And again, in the end, some of these I just put the sentiment in the end and thought that I would not add a cat to the design. Now, I do need to correct something that I said a little earlier. I got myself completely confused and I said that there was 3 layers of shadow to these sentiments. There's actually just 2 die cuts and then 1 stamp. So you can see here I've stamped onto just the 1 die cut, and then there is a shadow layer that can go around this as well, and it will make them a little bit more substantial. So apologies for that. I did get myself completely and utterly confused. If you are enjoying the video, it'd be fantastic if you could hit the like button. That is how YouTube knows that people are enjoying the video and they will share to a broader community. So really, really helpful for all content creators. So thank you in advance for that. I am wondering, are you a cat person or a dog person, or maybe, cat person versus dog person is probably an open question, but then maybe there's something else. Maybe you love rabbits or guinea pigs or some other type of pet. So maybe put in the comment below, what is your favorite animal or what is your favorite pet? All right, now when I'm putting these together here, you can see that I am sticking down the first layer, and then I'm actually putting some glue and I'm putting a second layer on top. Now, originally I thought this was a little bit strange why this die set came with 8 of these different cats and then 8 of these different cat heads. But it actually adds quite a lot of definition to the die cut, because otherwise the neck of the cat does fall down sort of into, like the head and the neck kind of merge together. And in some of the styles of how the cat is sitting, specifically with one similar to where that cat is curled up on the right hand side, it makes it a lot more obvious and adds just a little bit more interest to a silhouette die. Now, when I was cutting all of these out, I did have to be really careful to make sure I kept the body of the cat and the appropriate head together. They are marked on the back of the dies, cat 1 through 8, and the heads are as well. So it is easy to do that. But once I got to the end of the project and I had some cats left, I've put them in little Ziplocs together so that they don't all get mixed up, because I can imagine that would be really, really difficult to sort out later. For these ones here with the bigger piece of pattern paper, I just added a sentiment to each one, and I'll probably add something else down the track. I have put another video here that I think you might enjoy. Have a great day.